Hello students, it's great to connect with you all again and this is grade 10 unit 6 structure and function of the plant and animal cell. So students, today you are going to study about the basic fundamental of overall biology, that is cell. Cell is regarded as the true biological atoms. A cell is the smallest unit of life and they are responsible for keeping an organism alive and functioning. Cell is the basic structural, functional and biological unit of all organisms. A house is made up of bricks and stones. Likewise, body of an organism is made up of small building blocks called cells. Animal, plant, microorganisms all are made up of cells. There are unicellular organisms which is made up of only one single cell. Here, whole cell function as one organism. For example, amoeba, yeast, paramecium and other bacteria. So, students, in this chapter we are going to study about the cell and its structures. So, the contents are basic unit of life, concept of the cell, structure of cells, cell organelles and structure present in a cell, cell growth and cell division. Okay children, in this screen you are seeing hierarchies of life. That means organizational level of life. Atoms, you know what is atom? Atoms gather and form molecules. Molecules form macromolecules. By gathering of macromolecules, organelles are formed. Through that, a cell is formed. So, in this chapter, you are going to study about the fundamentals of a cell. Who discovered these cells? Yes, he is Robert Hooke. In 1665, Robert Hooke observed a section of cork using a microscope prepared by him. He discovered a structure like chambers in a beehive and he named them as cells. Students, please remember this is a simple microscope prepared by him. Okay? And after the multi-levels of experimental stage, cell theory was eventually formulated by German botanist Schleiden and German biologist Schwann with Rudolf Virchow introduced the cell theory. And this is based on the factors revealed by observing different live tissues through microscope. So, let's move to main part of this chapter, that is about cell theory. Cell theory is the historic scientific theory, universally accepted theory, and it states, first rule, all living things are made up of one or more cells. Second rule, all cells come from pre-existing cell through the process of cell division. Third rule, structural and functional unit of life is cells. That means basic building blocks. Okay, these are the three statements of cell theory. Cells were first observed by natural philosopher Robert Hooke in 1665. You know that? And so all the creatures are made up of cells, and cell theory is considered as the foundation of biology. Okay, the cell is the smallest structural unit of the organization of the living body. We can categorize into two types. One is organism which is composed of single cell is called unicellular organisms. Organisms which is composed of many cells is called multicellular organism. In the environment, you can see unicellular organisms as well as multicellular organisms. Most of the microorganisms are unicellular organisms. A single cell is functional unit there, and other mammals, insects and all other living beings are multicellular organisms. Okay, let's move to the second point. Cells perform different functions in the body. Yes. For example, if you take red blood cells in human body, not only the human body, but also all the other organisms which transport oxygen. Neuron cell means which help in transmission of impulse, and parenchyma cell in plant cell which is storage of food. So cells perform different functions in the body. It includes nutrient uptake, reproduction, growth, water removal and reacting to external changes. So children, let's define what is cell. Smallest biounit that is adapted to perform a particular function is the cell. Structural and functional unit of life is cell. Our human body has trillions of cells. Each of these cells is repeatedly performing the action in our body to help us through the day-to-day life and activities. The role and importance of the cells are undeniable. But have you ever pondered about the cell size and shapes? Yes. Cells have different shapes, size and function. Mostly, cells are not visible to the naked eye. Therefore, they have to be observed through the microscope. And largest cell in the world is ostrich egg. You can see in the screen. Usually, the cells are round, elongated or spherical. There are also some cells which are long and pointed on both ends. Such cells exhibit spindle shape. In some cases, the cells are very long. Some may be branch-like neuron or nerve cells. The nerve cells transfers and receives messages. Although plants and animal cells share most same features, they are also structurally different. Let's do the following activity to observe animal and plant cells under microscope. Here you are going to use light microscope, and to observe the animal cell, cheek cells are used, and to observe the plant cell, onion epidermal cells are used. Let's first observe animal cells under the microscope. For this practical, you need samples of cheek cell, glass slide, cover slip microscopes. Wash the mouth and scrape the inner side of the cheek using a yogurt spoon. Obtain a clean glass slide and put a drop of water and transfer the specimen onto the slide. Cover the specimen using cover slip without trapping any air bubbles and observe through the light microscope. If you observe under light microscope, you will see cells like this, which is scattered, and it has cell membrane bounded cells, and cytoplasm. Within the cytoplasm you can see reddish spot that is called nucleus. Next, how can we observe plant cells? For this practical, you need onion peel, watch glass, glass slide, slide slip, paintbrush and microscope. Cut an onion and obtain an inner fleshy tissue. Peel from inner or outer surface of it and transfer it to a watch glass containing water. Put a water drop onto a clean glass slide and transfer the specimen onto the slide using a paintbrush. Cover it with a cover slip without trapping any air bubbles and observe it. If you observe, you will see rectangular shaped cell lined up like this. Here, this dark spot in the middle of the cells are called nucleus and cytoplasm. Likewise, this is not like in the animal cells. These plant cells have dark borders, which is called cell walls and cell membranes. Cell organelles. Organelles are tiny cellular structures found within a cell. That means specialized subunits of cell. They are embedded within the cytoplasm, separately enclosed with the membrane. Some organelles are membrane bounded, some are not, but all of them now exist for a reason. Each of them have a specific function inside the cell. So let's read this slide. An organelle is a tiny cellular structure that performs specific function within a cell. The types of organelles and the number of them differ according to the function performed by the cell. Okay students, before going through plant and animal cell, let's see some features of typical cell. Cells are basic unit of organism which has several organelles. These organelles are subunits of cell. Cells vary in size and shapes. Cells are bounded with cell membrane. Interior to the cell membrane is cell plasma, which is also called cytosol, where cell organelles are embedded. Okay, let's read this slide. Cells with all organelles. In the living world, such cells do not exist. Cells with all the organelles are not there. Each cells contain particular organelles which is needed for their activity. But cells with a certain number of organelles of a typical cell can be found in living organisms. Okay, Let's read this. What is a cell? Animal and plant cells come in different shapes and sizes, but they all have three basic features. So children, here are three basic features are common for both animal and plant cell. Not only animal and plant cell, but also for microorganisms. What are they? Nucleus, cytoplasm and cell membrane. All these features are common for all the cells. Plant cells also have some extra features that make them different to animal cell. Okay, what is cytoplasm? Cytoplasm is a thick solution that fills each cell and is encloses inside the cell membrane. It is mainly composed of water, salts and proteins. So, cytoplasm is a fluid that fills a cell and it is a gelatinous material, that means semi-solid, and all the cell organelles suspended inside the cytosol. It carries the cell contents. So, children, be clear, cytoplasm is not an organelle, that is matrix of the cell. Okay. Nucleus. What is nucleus? Nucleus is the large organelle inside the cell and it is the major administrative center of cell and which control all the cellular activities. Also, nucleus is bounded by double membrane which contain hereditary material DNA, RNA and which aid in cell division. Not only cell division, growth, intermediate metabolisms, protein synthesis and reproduction. Okay, let's see what is cell membrane. The cell membrane surrounds the entire cell. All the cells have cell membrane. In case of animal cells, cells are only bounded by cell membrane. But in the plant cell, cell membranes, in the outer surface of the cell membrane, you can see cell walls. The cell membrane is a double layer made up of phospholipid. Yes, it is a double layer of phospholipid. The cell membrane is selectively permeable, meaning it only allows certain materials through that. Oxygen, carbon dioxide pass through easily, while larger and charged molecules must go through a special channel in the membrane. This maintains homeostasis within the cell. So, be clear that the cell membrane is the thing which is bounding the cell matrix. Also, which is permeable for the several materials to move inside and outside of the cell. Needed food and nutrients should be moved inside the cell. Likewise, excretory products of metabolism should come out of the cell. So, the cell membrane should be permeable to several materials. And this cell membrane is responsible to control most of the cellular mechanisms inside the cells. So children, remember these points. Especially the cell membranes are made up of phospholipid and which is also have specialized gates. Okay, cell wall. Cell wall is the structure of plant cell. Animal cells does not have cell wall and it is the dead structure. But all the other organelles are alive inside the cell. But cell wall is just a covering of a plant cell which give stability to the cell. Also, it maintains shape of the cell and provides support and protection to the cell. And cell wall is made up of cellulose, which is a polysaccharide carbohydrate. Animal cell. Animal cells are the basic unit of kingdom Animalia. What includes under kingdom Animalia? Insects, human and other mammals, birds and most of the multicellular organisms. Okay, these are advanced cells than prokaryotic cells. So these are eukaryotic cells. That means they have true nucleus and specialized organelles inside them. And compared to the plant cell, animal cells does not have cell wall and chloroplast. Chloroplast is the organelle which carry out photosynthesis. But photosynthesis is not taking place in the animal cell. So it is lack in the animal cell. So please be clear children, cell walls and chloroplast are not available in the animal cell. Instead of cell wall, animal cells are bounded by cell membrane or plasma membrane. It is a live semi-permeable membrane as well as selective permeable membrane. The cell has a variety of different parts. It contains many different types of specialized organelles that carry out all its functions. Not every animal cell has all types of organelles, but in general, animal cells do contain most, if not all, the following organelles. Okay, here in the screen you can see the common structure of an animal cell. As I said, it does not have a cell wall, it only have cell membrane. Likewise, the large organelle inside the cells are nucleus, and this is cell matrix, that is cytosol, which carry all the organelles. All the organelles are embedded in the cytoplasm. This is Golgi complex, peroxisome, secretory vesicles, smooth endoplasmic reticulum and rough endoplasmic reticulum, microfilaments, microtubules, mitochondria, and intermediate filaments and ribosomes. Okay, let's see what is plant cells. Plant cells are basic units of life in organisms of kingdom Plantae. All the plants contain plant cells which has different structure than the animal cells. They are also eukaryotic cells, that mean advanced cells. They have two nucleus along with specialized structures called organelles that carry out different functions. So, as I said before, cell wall is a feature of plant cell which cover the plant cell, and chloroplast is specialized cell of plant cell which do major function called photosynthesis, that means create sugars via photosynthesis. And another thing is central vacuole in a specialized is the specialized structure of plant cells. So children, remember that plant cell is for kingdom Plantae and animal cell is for kingdom Animalia. Both of them are eukaryotic cells, that mean they have true nucleus. With that, they have specialized structures. Cell wall and chloroplast and large central vacuoles are features of plant cells, but animal cells lack cell walls and chloroplast and large central vacuoles. Okay, this is the structure of plant cell, and in this way you can see the large thick covering that is called cell wall and large cell membrane, central vacuole, and large nucleus. Likewise, Golgi apparatus and mitochondria are common features of both cells, and this is chloroplast. This is the only organelle for plant cells. Okay, let's compare and contrast plant and animal cells. Plant cell has cell wall, large vacuole, chloroplast, but animal cells does not have cell wall. They have no vacuoles, but sometimes you can find small vacuoles. No chloroplasts are available in the animal cells, but flagella is the specialized structure of animal cell, but plant cells does not have these flagella. Flagella is the structure which aid in movement of a cell, but in the plant family flagella is found only in gametes. Gametes means small reproductory structures of plants which occur before the fertilization. Okay, what are the common organelles found for both plant and animal cells? Mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, and rough and smooth endoplasmic reticulum, nucleus, cytoplasm, and ribosomes. Okay. Now let's go deeply through all these cell organelles. Cell organelles are cellular subunits which has a specific functions inside the cell. Okay. And this is embedded inside the cytoplasm, and some are surrounded by the organelle membrane and some are not. Okay, what are the organelles which is covered by membrane? Mitochondria, nucleus, endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi complex. So, most of the organelles are covered by membranes. Some are not. But between these covered organelles, some are double membrane bounded, some are single membrane bounded. Okay, let's see about these organelles individually. Wall. Cell wall is the structure of plant cell which cover the entire cell, and this is the rigid structure which provides stability to the plant cell. This is the dead material and it contains cellulose. So, in the picture, you can see these green color areas are cell wall of each cell. What is plasma membrane? That means cell membrane. Cell membrane is the boundary of the cell which enclose the matrix of the cell. Matrix means cytosol of the cell. Present interior to the cell wall, and cell membranes are made up of phospholipid and allow entry of water, ions, some molecules inside the cell, likewise which excrete some waste products from the cell. In this bacteria cell, these red color areas are plasma membrane of the cell. Okay. Cytoplasm. Cytoplasms are gelatinous semi-liquids found inside the cell, which carry all the organelles, and it has nutrients, salts and water. Also, bear cell organelles and carry out different metabolic processes. It contains inorganic and organic substances. Also, children, cell wall, plasma membrane and cytoplasm are the structures which maintain the shape of the cell. As we saw earlier, nucleus is the major controller of the cell, which carry hereditary materials DNA. And okay, let's read this slide. The nucleus is a highly specialized organelle that serves as the information processing and administrative center of the cell. And nucleus is membrane bounded, especially it is the double membrane bounded structure. Control center of the cell. It stores hereditary material DNA. It coordinates growth, intermediate metabolism, protein synthesis and reproduction. Okay, Inside this nucleus, you can see some dark structures that is called nucleolus. Number of chromosomes is specified to a species. Human contain 46 chromosomes. Chromosomes means DNA inside the nucleus. Frog has 26 chromosomes. Paddy plant has 24 chromosomes. So children, you have to know that these number of chromosomes are vary between each species. Remember the number of human chromosomes. Others are not important for GCE O levels. Mitochondria. It is the special important organelle inside the cell. That means this organelle produce energy for cellular metabolism, and this is the common structure for plant and animal cells. Oval or rod-shaped membrane-bounded organelles. Powerhouse of the cell, as nucleus is the controller of the cell and powerhouse of the cell is mitochondria. Aerobic respiratory reaction take place and this is producing energy. Energy produced by mitochondria is used for metabolic activities of the cell. Golgi complex. Golgi complex is membrane bounded sex that is stacks on top of each other and associated secretory vesicles. Production of secretory substances, packaging and secretion. Also, these Golgi complex will form vesicles which encloses cellular materials or secretions. Ribosomes. Ribosomes are not covered by cell membranes. So, children, please remember that the organelle which is not covered by a membrane is ribosome. Small organelle in the cell. It has one large unit and small unit. Can be found freely in the cytoplasm or sometimes it is found attached to endoplasmic reticulum. Also, this is aid in protein synthesis. Endoplasmic reticulum. What is endoplasmic reticulum? They are flat tubular sacs and it is a network of membranous structure. This endoplasmic reticulum is always found attached to nucleus and it can be found attached to cell membrane. Because this endoplasmic reticulum is responsible for transport of materials inside the cell. So we can categorize this endoplasmic reticulum into two major types. One is rough endoplasmic reticulum RER. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum is SER. What are the difference between rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum? Rough endoplasmic reticulums are always attached to ribosomes. That means ER become rough because ribosomes attach to the membrane. But comparatively, you can't find any ribosomes over the surface of smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Also, rough endoplasmic reticulum aid in transportation of protein within the cells. Smooth endoplasmic reticulums are tubular six, synthesis of lipids, steroids, and transport them within the cell. Okay, in the structure, this is nucleus, and as I said, these endoplasmic reticulums are always attached to nucleus or plasma membrane. So, here in this endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes are attached on the surface. These red color spots are ribosomes of the cell. So, this is called endoplasmic reticulum. But these are the tubular six which has no ribosomes on the surface. That is called smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, vacuoles. What is vacuoles? Vacuoles are specialized structure of plant cell, which is the large organelle which contain cell sap. Also, this is bounded by single membrane called tonoplast. So, tonoplast, what is tonoplast? That is the membrane of vacuole. If you see inside this vacuole, you can find cell sap, which is made up of water, sugar, ions, and pigments. No vacuoles are found in animal cells. Sometimes small vacuoles may present. In unicellular organisms, contractile vacuoles are found. These contractile vacuoles are responsible for water regulation inside the cell. Likewise, the overall function of vacuole inside the plant cell is which maintain water balance, support and provisions of color of the cell by pigments within it. Also, it maintain movement of water within the cell. Here you can see the clear diagram of animal cell. So finally, we know that the nucleus is the larger organelle inside the cell which is common for plant and animal cell. And this rough endoplasmic reticulums are always found attached to the cell membrane. And this is smooth endoplasmic reticulum. This is the matrix of cell which carry all the organelles. Likewise, these are the vesicles which aid in transport of material inside the cell, and ribosomes are responsible for protein synthesis. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell which do aerobic respiration and they produce energy. Golgi complex are sacs of tubular structure which pack, pack and secrete materials inside the cell. This is the plant cell and which is bounded by cell membrane, but not only cell membrane but also they are bounded by rigid structure called cell wall. But animal cells does not have cell wall. They are only covered by cell membranes, and you also can find large nucleus, mitochondria inside the cell, and other cellular structures, but vacuoles are specialized structure of plant cells, and chloroplast also only the cell of plant cell which is responsible for photosynthesis, production of food inside the cell. Okay, children, this is the picture of animal and plant cells observed under the light microscope. This is the structure of animal cells because we can see there is no cell wall in the structure, and this is bounded by the membrane, and the dark spot inside the cells indicate nucleus. Other organelles are not found under the microscope, and in this picture you can see dark ridges areas that is indicate this is the plant cell. So children, today we studied about the cells. Cells are the basic structure of living body, and Robert Hooke found the cell at first time, and there is a theory which states about the cell. Cell theory states all living things are made up of cells. Cells are the smallest unit of the life, and all the cells coming from pre-existing cells through the cell division. So, next about cell membrane. Cell organelles. Cell organelles are embedded inside the cell matrix called cytosol. So, we have seen about each organelles. Okay, children, I am going to end up this session today, and let's meet you all again in the next video about cell cycle and cell divisions. And if you find my video useful, don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you.